Well, he's having a nicer time than you in this awful, awful situation.
Hey, nicely done with the generator. Power seems to be back on.
Just break your leg and you get a nice excuse.
Yeah, but what if the zombies break through the doors? You're fucked.
Yeah, I know, but at least he got a nice sit down. Perfect.
I like to think Jake is wearing so many helmets that they're clipping through the ceiling now.
He's just gonna go to the He's gonna go to the little helipad area. He's gonna stack the helmets one on top of each other, and he's just gonna climb out through the ceiling. It's all part of the plan. He's really expecting you to take that MP7.
You should, Lolly. You should have taken it. It's a better SMG.
One of the only reasons I never actually take like an MP7 is because I like the ability of having a mobile grenade launcher.
I've always hated
Does the MP7 not have a grenade launcher in this?
I doubt it.
It actually does.
I've always hated explosive weapons in video games, just like in first-person shooters in general, because they're messy. You've got to worry about firing it too close to yourself. They're just too imprecise for my taste.
I remember
Tribes Ascend, when everyone was using spin fuses, was fucking godlike.
Well, spin fusers are an exception. They kind of, they're better than the projectile weapons, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, bullet weapons.
remember
Hit scan.
You remember 2 parts ago when...
Yeah, but no weapons are hit scan in Tribes Ascend, I don't think. Except maybe
Oh
like
no,
a pistol.
there were a few.
Yeah, there were a
and
few, but
it did make things worse. Anyway, you were saying, Lolly?
I remember 2 parts ago when I went into that one room that I had to access only through vents. It was completely optional. You can find like a proper grenade launcher in there.
It's a really beautiful piece of medieval weaponry. And it comes in really handy when I see a rat all the way down a vent. Instead of climbing down there and tracking it down for hours, I can just load up a bolt and slackowie. Down goes the rat.
That is a perfect use of phonetic spelling right there. I'm sad that phonetic English never caught on. And I am embittered about something that happened several centuries ago.
I love how he actually says something about that. More game.
God, this is Little Touches, the mod.
Yeah. Attention, a game is good and it had love put into it when there's attention to detail like that. The kind of shit that you didn't have to put into the game, but it's there anyway. Metal Gear, one of the reasons Metal Gear Solid is loved so much is because it's jam-packed with that kind of shit.
I always mix up the numbers. I never
Isn't there like a rule, like everyone has to just throw in an Easter egg somewhere, just you get your little contribution? Or maybe there's just an Easter egg guy who's working at who's working with Hideo Kojima and just like, okay, I'll throw in a couple of things here and there.
When you said that, I was kind of imagining like a character that was a physical Easter egg man.
One of my favorite Easter eggs is...
I'm trying to imagine a physical Easter egg man. It's just like a guy in an egg costume. With like a little hole for the
find him,
face.
He just says, I'm an Easter egg.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Easter eggs is from Metal Gear Solid 2, actually. Like, if you're playing on the harder difficulties, you can find a razor and give it to another character, and every time you see him from then on, he's clean-shaven. Just... It's pretty obvious which character that is if you play Metal Gear Solid 2. And it makes it all the funnier, really.
Yeah.
I always wanted to say that. I mean, I would have been a good salesman, don't you think? So yeah, you bring me 10 more cards. That's right, you heard right. You bring me 10 more cards, and I'll give you a little something I've been working on here. I've been working on these little FM radios.
Well, that's just giving the game away.
I'm a bit of a resident expert when it comes
Red radios are the most amazing things ever. I remember the first time I used a red radio, and it was amazing.
On your first playthrough, did you not actually discover it?
No, I discovered it on my first playthrough. I was out like giving the hermit all the cards I could find. Okay, so this line right here, those firecrackers go boom. I actually thought that he literally meant firecrackers, as in like, well, you turn on this red radio, it explodes, and it attracts enemies from a higher radius. So imagine my surprise when I turned... the first time I used a red radio was when the first human enemies came into play, right? And it was so amazing. I just placed it in this little storage room, right? And I crawled back into the vent as I laid it down, and I just hear, and next I go out there, and like it was like something out of a movie. Like one of the guys had his legs just standing up, but it was blown off. And another guy had his both of his arms blown off, and he was on top of the paint cabinet. What the fuck, Jake?
Just your story's giving Jake's the shakes.
Oh man. Anyway, he was Anyway, he had his arms blown off, and he was stuck to the wall on top of the paint shelf for like 3 seconds, and then he just kind of slumped over. It was like something out of a fucking movie, and I loved it.
I just liked there that Jake's kind of pose with a wrench just looked like a crotchety old man. It's like, I'll get you with this.
Oh, I didn't even know about that card. I just
you were calling Lawley out last part. You didn't get that, did you?
No, I thought that you missed the card behind the thing. I didn't even know that there was another card there, and it was a more obvious one. How the fuck could I miss that?
You missed the woods for the trees, man.
Wait, on your playthrough, didn't you say you missed a card?
I think I have a screenshot. I missed like about 4 cards.
Oh, I was about to say if that was the one card you missed.
You just really did get wrecked and decked there.
Yeah.
You were not man enough to end it.
That's not it. I was afraid of her.
Afraid of what? What could she do?
She would have killed me.
I don't think she would have, man. Even if she said so once, man. It's just all talk.
She never threatened me. On the contrary, every time we talked about separation, she acted like she did not care, and like she would just move on as if she didn't love me.
I've been playing Wolfenstein lately, and I really do like that there are parts where you're just dropped into the kind of Rebels HQ a bit, and there's just so many nice little character moments there.
Deep down,
It's kind of capturing it on another scale.
She knew it, I knew it, and she knew I knew. And these false words were just a desperate attempt of making me believe that there was no cage, but there was.
I do like how they just had this really casual conversation,
She would have
just kind of in a zombie apocalypse.
she had it in her.
Again, I don't really think that they know yet.
And if she was,
Well, it's like they're in a zombie apocalypse and no one's coming to help them, so this is incredibly casual. But they are probably just trying to take their minds off bullshit.
By talking about yonder, like, lives. Okay.
No, that is comparably better than this still.
Yeah.
Like, in shitty situations, people do just, like, talk about whatever comes to mind. But then astrology comes up. Sorry, I think I missed something while we were talking over this.
For example, is an extraordinary creature. It can be one of the deadliest predators, and is fierce and dangerous. But when it is trapped, with no chance of escaping, it will stab itself to death.
Oh, what a
Because a
lovely
fearful and
topic.
dangerous predator becomes suicidal when trapped. It's in its nature.
I just now realized there's actually the bloodstain from Junior on the ground. I
Oh,
didn't actually
yeah.
notice that.
On the bright side, there are talented
Again, little touches. But, you know, I think that's actually baked into the map.
and they will drag everyone and everything they love down with them.
so Rebecca was a scorpion, huh?
No, she was a cancer.
So what the fuck with the science expo, man?
That wasn't science.
Nothing is black or white. No one is
I'm offended by this game.
completely good. On the bright
Well,
side,
not really,
she was the
no.
sweetest and most
This
talented
offends my
person.
Tumblr
She
sensibilities.
was so talented.
How dare you talk about astrology? How come they didn't talk about astronomy for 20 minutes?
Whenever someone mentions Tumblr now, I can just imagine. The only thing I can really imagine is that terrible convention that went on.
All I think about when I think about Tumblr is a bunch of easily offended people who were coddled in life, so they don't, they're not accustomed to being told that people have different opinions and viewpoints than them.
I did the math. If that was the case,
Let's not go there, though.
but I do not.
Yeah,
The only thing that
we
offends
may
me
have
about-
already lost 5 of our subscribers.
Yeah,
Only
probably.
5.
Well, we're just going on about Tumblr. I don't know anything about Tumblr, but I'm just offended they've insulted a perfectly fine drinking utensil.
I'm sorry, what?
No matter the reason,
The tumbler.
as long as one
Drink your whiskey from a tumbler.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a really laboured pun. But
what you will.
I've never even heard of that. It must be a UK thing.
I only know about it because of a streetcar named Desire, just from reading the script for the play. Which is a bizarre place to learn the word for a tumbler, but Either way, this is a really long optional conversation.
Again, the little things. I actually like that.
This has gone beyond the territory of little thing. Someone sat down one day and said, I'm going to script just this character building moment, and it's going to be 10 minutes long.
Well, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with the length.
Oh
you
no,
know,
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's bizarre.
it's not really that bizarre. You're just not used to it because most AAA studios just don't give a shit.
I did the math.
You'd eventually, listen to someone long enough and they'd start repeating lines. They wouldn't have, long 10-minute conversations.
Last of Us was good about Litz putting in loads of little conversations and touches throughout the stages.
And they change every time you play through the game, too, which is nice.
Even though getting the triggers on some of those conversations can be such a shit. I knew a conversation was coming up, but because I took one step out of the room, Joel just said, "Hey, not now."
You can actually miss some key plot elements if you don't listen to them talk every once in a while.
Seems like do stop.
Listening to that whole conversation unlocks a side quest, apparently, or at least that's what it seems like.
I think so. It might do that.
Yeah, that's right. I call her Lucy, and she can fix all your problems. So just bring me the pills, and the gun is yours.
Is that gun unique stat wise?
Any gun in the game is actually pretty sufficient.
Well, yeah, it seems like this game seems like a game where you could get by on just the basic pistol.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have a little bit of fun firepower.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucy, he's named that gun, so it's got something to it.
Yeah.
That makes it infinitely more powerful.
Alright, here's where I'm at. Apparently, I managed to access the security network from this computer.
Anyway, as for optional conversation, Matthew reveals something incredibly, heavy. If you just, he doesn't even know that he does, he just does it without even knowing. It has a lot to do with the stuff that you can find out in the house, but it has to do with Frank, essentially.
God, I hate that. Anyway, if you could do this for me, I can give you
Okay, guys, if you're listening, cover your ears, because it's about to get into
We'll put up a
spoilers.
timestamp for when the spoilers end.
Alright. So, Matthew actually names off his handler as someone who says, "Ha, you hooligan."
my bed if that's any help for you.
The guy who saved him from his hospital bed when he was blind. Because Matthew actually lost his sight temporarily after an explosion. So so he thought that everyone was going to try and silence him because he wasn't of any use to his organization anymore. So the guy who saved him says he didn't know anything about his handler, only they said, "Ha, you hooligan." And if you if you go in front of your squad mates in the prologue, Frank will say, "You hooligan, what are you doing?"
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah. Okay, spoilers are over.
What's the other thing to note about reused animations? That was like the animation from Half-Life 2 when
Nice reflex.
during the apartment scene. And you just look over those two. Damn. I love shotguns in games.
I do too. There's no way that it's you're not gonna like a shotgun in a video game unless it's really underpowered, like a lot of, well, like most FPS games I've played.
It's kind of bizarre that when I get a semi-auto shotgun, I'm immediately like, no, this needs a pump action.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
there's something incomplete here.
It's like choosing semi-auto sniper rifles versus bolt action. It's just not the same.
I don't know what...
The stats could be completely similar. It's just that one animation just makes it feel better to use.
I don't know why, but I like the idea of balancing yourself on like.
Oh, that's cool.
I like the idea of balancing yourself on a coffee table, kicking zombies as soon as they come towards you.
Oh yeah.
It's just standing on anything that can move makes any attack way more interesting. One of my weirdest memories from school is when a friend got up on a table and ran. The tables were in a line, like you could move from one room to the other. You just walked on tables, then ran across the room and kicked another guy in the face.
Oh. Wait a second.
I don't know why I was so blasé, but I just thought, man, if I was him, I'd grab the leg.
Wait a second. Why the fuck did you do that?
You know, the thing is, I don't know. It just seemed out of nowhere on reflection.
There had to be some kind of reason.
It was math class, so I was kind of tuned out.
Well, I understand.
The only kind of weird, like, type of table incident I've had at a school is, like, when someone decided to flip multiple tables for no reason.
Yeah, I can understand that before, like, just getting up and charging a dude. But... you know, that story aside, that was a good bloke.
I always like bloke as a word.
It's more common over here. Not really sure why I'd need to qualify that.
I always think that...
as well, but I'm not sure when it became a part of my fucking lexicon.
I always think that's weird, like how other countries are always fascinated with each other's like accents and all that. And
I do love little kind of inflections and common use words that I don't know. It's like an American can't say arse and an English person can't say ass. When I sound it, it's just awful and wrong.
that's kind of how it is. Like when you know. When Americans say that, it's like, wait a second, what?
Also, I'm not sure where the word. I'm not sure, but like any Americans listening, please never say twat. It's awful.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It makes my ears bleed.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
You scared me.
I'm getting Dead Rising flashbacks.
Are you part of the rescue team? I knew they'd send somebody to rescue us. All right, I'll come with you.
Oh, well, who the fuck are you? I was just scanning these storage rooms. You can fuck off.
He's just a varsity student who got lost in here. He just got lost in here with a bunch of magazines and no gun. That is kind of beautiful.
The fuck are you doing? Okay.
You really have no regard for this man's life, do you?
Well, if he really had no regard for his life, he probably wouldn't have given him a pistol. But
I only given him the pistol because he's overpowered with it, or at least any AI.
I want that to be a justification in game now. Just like, why'd you give me a gun? Because you're OP. Now take my pistol, and then you get infinite ammo too.
you're remarkably good from hip firing. I'm sorry, that did not come out right. I've only got 4 hours of sleep.
Maybe it's because I'm kind of goddamn stupid with my sentences, but that made perfect sense to me. Stop pointing that shotgun at his head.
And there's the night vision that you can just kind of find anywhere.
But yeah, guys watching, if I sound like I'm out of it, it's because I am. I literally got 4 hours of sleep before doing this commentary, and the last part too.
If I sound out of it, it's because it's 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I split this part up because I was trying to find the one thing Ben asks you to find.
Motherboards.
I love how it's just hidden under the bed like you're hiding drugs or something.
This prisoner, he was building PCs under our nose.
I just now realized while fast forwarding, I kicked PC monitors through windows.
It's just so mad about that PC building. I can't tell if someone's strumming a guitar in the background or if you also edited in some mood music.
Well, that's a pothead in the background. Don't worry about him.
It adds character.
Are you having a party over at your place, Lolly?
No, as in they're actually potheads in my living room, just kind of doing their own thing.
As potheads are wont to do. So how many hit points does this survivor have? Can he take a fair bit of punishment?
I think he can take about 100 points of health, like a player can.
Okay, so he's no.
No. This is just me guessing because they have a fair amount of health, but I know that they can die.
Yeah, they don't have regenerating health like main characters in Half-Life 2.
Wait, main characters? Oh, right, they do.
Yeah. Escort. You have to really bugger off from escortable characters just to make them die in that game. It doesn't want them to die, oddly enough.
I just wish that developers would stop making partner AI in games because they never do it right. I know that you can do it right, but it's just I haven't played a game yet where they do partner AI right.
I think Resident Evil 4 got it closest, and that's only because you can tell Ashley to stay a million miles away from
Okay, and another thing you're right about that, because another thing is that Ashley actually ducks when you aim at her.
Yeah.
Which
you point a gun at her, she's like, oh, I'd best get out of the way of this rifle.
Yeah. A lot of games don't give you that courtesy, and it's annoying.
Weird thing about the morgue is, you can open these things up, but there's never anything inside them. It's just kind of there.
That, Lawley, I know it's a video game, but that kind of makes sense. They don't think, man, I'm just going to stash my pack of fags with this corpse. That'll really help with the menthol flavour.
Oh, God. Oh, he's pointing at you.
There we go. No, I think, I don't think the Bioshock Infinite and Last of Us way of doing it is actually a good step, making them complete non-entities.
Well,
I mean, it's better than bad AI, but by that same token, it's immersion
I've recently played The Last of Us on my PS3, and it was, I think they patched it so that enemies noticed Ellie now. And it's...
I don't think they do, because I've had a few moments.
No, I know that they do, because, I was hiding behind cover, and Ellie went out there like a fucking dumbass and got me spotted, completely destroying my stealth run.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that.
Yeah, I think it got added in a patch, actually.
They did release a new difficulty recently, so I could see it.
Yeah.
Grounded difficulty, I believe it was. Perfect.
In the end, I still don't really appreciate The Last of Us. It's everything that I hate about modern games. Too much emphasis on story and not enough emphasis on gameplay.
Give me the video games.
Me and you differ in that. I kind of think as a medium, video games can do a bit of both, as long as I know what I'm getting into of a game.
Well, yeah. For example, I like Telltale games, but I don't really see them as games so much as visual novels, essentially.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of...
Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of Telltale games, episode 4 of season 2 of The Walking Dead is coming out in a few days.
I really don't care until all the episodes are out. I don't plan on buying the game because I had the displeasure of having season 1 spoiled for me before all the episodes came out. So
yeah, my brother has the same mentality when it comes to playing The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I like the speculation. It was fucking hilarious before episode 5 came out and everyone was saying, man, Ben's gonna redeem himself, Ben did not fucking redeem himself, and I loved every second.
Another thing is, I don't see how anyone likes Kenny, but I go more into that, but the video's about to end.
Maybe next part.
Yeah.
No, Ken goes between being a bro and being a shit in I agree. As a friend put it that way, and I was like, yeah, you're pretty much right. He jumps.
I don't remember him ever jumping to being a bro. I just remember him being a total fucking disaster throughout the entire series.